Quick question. The last time you had a feeling, did it expand your life or talk you into playing small? Today, we're getting brutally clear on intuition versus fear, so you can stop looping and start choosing like the woman you actually are. Stay to the end for a guided practice you can use every single day. And if you're new here, welcome. I'm Dawn Elgin, contrarian soul guide, visionary mystic, and founder of Practical Spiritualism and host of Sovereignty Rising podcast. I hope you stop abandoning yourself and start building a life led by your soul, not by fear. Let's talk intuition versus fear, why it matters, and where we get it wrong. We've been sold two extremes: perform high vibes and call it intuition, or outsource decisions to logic while your body screams no. Neither is sovereignty. Here's the uncomfortable truth. You are always creating through your choices, your energy, and your presence. When you mislabel fear as intuition, you create safety that becomes more of a cage. When you ignore intuition because it's inconvenient, you create fate on repeat. This episode is about telling the difference in real time so you can choose your destiny on a Tuesday afternoon and not just on a retreat. Now, there's three voices inside of you. One is intuition. It is steady, quiet, and non-negotiable. It feels like grounded clarity, spacious breath, like, of course. And the language, simple, few words, same message tomorrow. Now, the second voice, fear, is our protective system, and it is loud, urgent, and catastrophizing. Think of Chicken Little, which is really what it's like because it's the amygdala, this little almond-shaped gland in our brain that I always think of having the white gloves and boots of Mr. Peanut, and it's just screaming around, running inside of our head. Ah, the sky is falling. That's the second voice. In our bodies, it feels like a tight chest, shallow breathing, and tunnel vision. The language is lots of what if, bargaining, contingency spirals. And we'll hear things like should, shouldn't, as well as justifications and excuses. And the third voice is impulse, which is dopamine and not destiny. It's fast, shiny, and it's relief seeking. It feels restless. And it's, I just need to do something. The language often is, screw it, I'll fix the fallout later. Intuition expands capacity. Fear shrinks our options, and impulse chases relief. Your body is the oracle because it registers truth faster than thoughts. For our breath, intuition equals deeper, slower. Think of dropping down into your belly or into your pelvic bowl. Whereas fear tends to be shallow and it's held. So we'll either use our tertiary breathing muscles, the neck and the shoulders, which is why we'll get tension headaches, or we'll hold our breath and it'll almost be like gasping. And so think of we hold when we have a fear of losing, or we hold on the out breath when we actually have a fear of receiving. And then our impulse tends to be erratic. Now, for our posture, intuition is really a tall spine. You almost feel your shoulders get easy and soft. It's just really grounded presence. Whereas fear tends to collapse, and so we'll shrink in, or it will become rigid and tense. And so especially we might feel that in our hips and our thighs, because that's that safety protectiveness. And impulse is fidgety. Now, viscera. Intuition is a grounded belly and a warm chest, whereas fear is nauseous and a clenched gut. And impulse is buzzing limbs. Think of when you have a moment of adrenaline and you just get that shock and it goes right through the fingers. It can feel like that kind of moving through the skin. And tempo, the intuition is patient. Fear is urgent and impulse is instant. Now, when I was away on a retreat in June, it was the most incredible experience. The entire time I was away, I felt extremely grounded and massively expansive. It was the only way I could really to describe it to people. I'd never felt that way and held it for so long, especially outside of meditation. That entire time, my intuition, and you can think of your intuition as your soul whispering. It is our ability to use or tap into that wisdom that we have within ourselves. So the whole time that I was traveling, the messages coming through would be slow, present, breathe. And they would just be one or two words. And they were quiet. And it was like listening to wisdom. There was, the mind still chattered, still was going off, but there was this voice that was so much calmer. And that was the voice I followed. Now, quick note. Your nervous system runs safety checks. When old conditioning equals safe, new truth can feel unsafe. And that's why we need tests that don't rely on only sensation. So here's the 5-lens test, rapid clarity framework. Run any decision through these 5 lenses, and if 4 to 5 point the same way, you've got your answer. So there's the body lens. What shifts if I breathe for 30 seconds? So this means inhaling through the nose and exhaling either through the nose or the mouth. And you can either move to what we call a water breath. So even, same, 4 counts in, 4 counts out. Or you can move into a relaxation breath, which is a 4 count in breath and an 8 count out breath, either through the nose or the mouth. And so when we start to settle our breath and we sink in, so we purposely ground down into our body, does the answer or information. So once we do this breath, if we get an expansion, then that's a green light. If we get constriction, then that's a yellow or a red light. And then there's the value lens. Does this align with my top 3 values? Maybe they're truth, freedom, love without boundaries. For myself, I'm always blending everything against my own, which come in with, is this respectful, outward and inward? Am I being loyal? And with loyal, I would say, am I in integrity? So am I in integrity with myself? Am I selling myself out? Am I selling someone else out? Am I being courageous? Because courage is one of my biggest, boldest values that I have. Am I being courageous, or am I trying to play small? And then curiosity. If it's with somebody else, am I getting curious about this? Or is my ego involved where it thinks it knows everything? And then, is this sovereign? Am I leading from love, from intuition? Or am I being pulled and pushed by my fears and my worries and my concerns? So checking in with our values is vital. You can think of your values as your own unique constellation. And so rather than just having one North Star, we have this beautiful constellation that's uniquely ours. And so knowing what our values are really important. And our values will change over time. And what I mean by that is, as we continue on this journey, you will find that your values will probably mature. They will evolve as you let go of old wounds and you start to really walk in alignment with yourself. 10 years ago, my main value was freedom. It's not on my list now, because freedom to me is being sovereign. If I am not pushed and pulled by my fears, my dramas, and my traumas, then I already am free and I don't have to worry about the rest of this world. I'm not looking outside of myself to gain something. I'll drop a link in our show notes for my values test, and then you can explore your own values if you haven't already. If any answer violates a core value, it isn't intuition, ever. And then there's the timeline test. And then there's the timeline lens. Would this still be true in 72 hours? Intuition holds, fear decays or mutates. Impulse evaporates. Now note what I said about the fear. It decays or it mutates. So often fear will continuously shift or pivot. It'll make excuses. So notice what's happening because, as I said, intuition, it just holds. And then there's the cost lens. What is the price of not choosing this? If the cost of avoidance is integrity, peace, your intuition is calling. And then there's the witness lens. If my future self were here, what would she choose? Borrow her nervous system. She's already lived the result. So let's just do a quick guided practice, the 90-second clarity reset. If you can, sit. If you're driving, keep your eyes open. Let's go ahead and place one on our heart and one on our belly. Again, if you're driving, just keep them on the wheel. And as we just come into our bodies, I want you to breathe into that lower hand, inhaling through your nose for about 3 counts and exhaling for about 6. Inhale for 3 and exhale for 6. And one more time. Inhale through your nose for 3 counts and exhale for 6. Now whisper the decision and notice the first body response and ask, if no one needed to approve, what would I choose? Just wait. Ask, what would choosing fear do to me a month from now? And just feel that. Ask, what would choosing truth build in me a month from now? Decide the next tiny, honest action. Text, calendar block, boundary, whatever it is. Pause and breathe before you decide. And comment your tiny action. So let's just jump into a couple of real world scenarios, because always great, but sometimes they're broad and that's just difficult. So relationships. You feel off after hangouts. Run the 5 lens test. Body stays tight after breath. Values of mutual respect aren't met. The message is the same next week. So create space and share a clear boundary. I'm noticing I feel drained after we connect. I'm taking some space to recalibrate. I'll reach out when I have capacity for real connection. Now, that's an option. The second option, which is one I would use, which would be to get really curious and have a courageous conversation. Notice what's coming up for you. If that is a safe place for you to do it. I like to lean into my discomfort. And sometimes that's saying, hey, I'm curious. Are you aware? And then talking it out, because maybe they're mirroring something back and it's an opportunity for that relationship to get a lot deeper. Now, scenario B, business creation case, big opportunity arrives. Is no intuition or is it a fear of visibility? Check the lens. If saying no protects your calendar but betrays your mission, that's fear. So the micro move, negotiate terms that protect your energy instead of defaulting to no. C, money, investment in support, intuition or impulse fix. Timeline lens, wait 72 hours. If the yes holds without pressure tactics, it's likely intuitive. D, health, urge to overhaul everything Monday, impulse disguised as fresh start. So the intuition path, one sustainably honest change. Truth compounds. Impulse crashes. Let's take a look at the guided practice number 2, which is 2 doors plus future self. Now, this is pretty common in the coaching world, so go ahead and close your eyes if it's safe. And imagine or visualize that there are 2 doors in front of you. Door A is status quo. See yourself choosing safety, approval, and feel your body in 3 months. Door B is aligned choice. See yourself choosing the true thing. And again, feel your body in 3 months. just settling into it. Now, meet your future self. She steps out of door B and ask her, what did I have to let go of? How did I support my nervous system? What first step did I take? Receive one sentence and speak it out loud, or type it or write it. And then hands to heart and belly and repeat, I choose truth and I support the part of me that's scared. I have a free future self visualization download, and I'll stick the link in the description for that longer version of this as well. So let's come up with an integration plan for the next week, your 7-day plan. Daily 90-second reset. That's it, before making meaningful decisions. One honest action per day. Just one. Track the tells. One body signal for yes and one for no. And then a community share. Post in the Awakening Circle. My body says yes with, and my body says no with, and share that. Notice how everybody's a little bit different. Some are going to be the same, but we're all unique. And use the resource. Grab the future self visualization or the values checklist so that you can be supported in your practice. And subscribe and comment. Share one decision you'll run through the 5-lens test today. If it feels too vulnerable to put it here, feel free to email me. The link is in my bio. All right, my friend, here's the truth. We don't just need more people talking about intuition and fear. We need more people living it. Choosing truth over approval every single day. That's the sovereignty revolution I'm building. And if you've watched this far, you're already part of it. So here's how we keep going together. Like and subscribe. Click like, hit subscribe, and turn on the bell so you never miss an episode. And share this video. Someone you know is stuck at a crossroad. So send this to them. And join my Awakening Circle, my private Facebook community where we go deeper live. Links in the description. And sign up for daily inspiration, short, potent reminders to keep you choosing truth. Listen to Sovereignty Rising podcast. Every Friday, we dive deep into the principles of co-creation and personal power. Choose one action right now. Subscribe, join, sign up, share, and take it. I'll see you inside the Awakening Circle, in your inbox tomorrow and back here next week. Until then, choose truth. Be kind to the part of you that's scared and keep building the life only you can live. I see the light in you, and it is frickin' brilliant. I am so excited for you to live in that light too.